So Lee asked a question I kind of thought was good. At what point is it okay to stop adding weight in training and just keep lifting to maintain muscle mass, strength, and overall good health? The important thing about this question is this. I am 51 and I've been consistently weight training since 16, learning of its benefits as a high school football player and wrestler. It's a great question. I remember I was probably about your age, Lee, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to maintain the strength I had in junior college, so basically when I was 18 and 19, as long as I could. And I actually entered Olympic lifting meets with the goal to match the lifts I made at 18, 19, in my 50s. Now, it's interesting now at 67, my goal now is to match the warm-ups I made at the time back then. It's pretty close, honestly. I'm just going to add one small other thing because I think I want to talk about your point. When I was younger, it might have been Covert Bailey who said that you should try to maintain your body weight at the weight you were at like 21, like when you were in college. And it's interesting. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say this, but I'm the same weight I was in junior college, and it makes me kind of happy. I've been, I could basically wear the same t-shirts I wore in junior college. Maybe not the pants because, it was the 70s and pants were a lot tighter back then. But I like your question. And I think a lot of people miss this. Now, the person who helped me the most with this is no longer with us, but his name was John McKeon, McKean. And he was from Missouri, and he was part of that all-around weightlifting group. And his articles that were in Hard Gainer, it was interesting, they wrote in Hard Gainer because I thought his insights were well beyond that kind of narrow focus. He later wrote a couple articles, and he's quoted by Pavel in a few of Pavel's books. And one of the things he pushed was a concept called constant weight training, where you would prepare for a meet by picking a load and just sticking with it. Now, again, he was an all-around lifter, so he might have to go to a meet, and I don't know. They have all kinds of things like 2-finger deadlift and no thumb deadlift, and the hip and thigh lift, all kinds of strict curl, which I found really interesting. You have to keep your back against the wall and curl it. I thought that was really an interesting contest. And his idea, I stole it, his idea that when you do something like preparing for a contest with a series of lifts you don't do very much, is he would try to hone in. I think the number he said was 70%. And he would do reps at 70% the whole training cycle. Now, he also added Dynamax bands. He's one of the first to do that, I think, and chains the things to get that acceleration going on certain things. But sticking with one load and just training through a whole prep period for a meet. Now, you look back and you say, well, who else has done that? Well, the original kettlebell idea was the same thing. I have a new book just came out. When you hear this, the Kettlebell Workout Companion or something like that. I should really know my own titles. But I argue a lot that the original 3 kettlebells, the 16, the 24, and the 32, were marvelous in their simplicity because if you only had those 3 bells, you had to make certain decisions. Like if you use Boyd Epley's classic 1-rep max numbers, to press the 32, you have to be able to do, I think, 10 reps with the 24. Well, to get yourself from, 1 rep with the 24 to 10 reps with the 24, the load doesn't change, but you're clearly stronger. If you struggle with a single on the press and then 5 months later get it for 10, I think you're stronger. I don't think anyone would argue with that. And then if you could do the 24 for 10, at least on paper, you should be able to press the 32 kilo bell. So I think there's great value in what you're arguing, what you're asking. I would try to find loads and rep schemes that support your concept here. So one thing I would recommend, and I do this all the time in my own training, I try to stay what I call natural weights. So like if you're using a standard Olympic barbell, and I'm going to use pounds because it's easier for me, and all you had was 45s, well, here you go. You can lift 45, 135, 225, 315, 405, 495. Okay, we'll stop there, 585. You know where we're all going with that. If you have also 25s, then you can go 45, 95, 135, 145. That's, you slide the 25s on both sides. So for me, I would like you to think about those natural plates. So if you have 45-pound plate, a 35-pound plate, and a 25-pound plate, that's 205. I would like you to stick with those natural numbers like that. Don't add on the 2.5s, the 5s, or the 1, the 2, the 3, 2.5 kilo ones. Stick with the big numbers. I like your idea. In fact, I've been drawn to it for a while. I played around with it to prepare for an Olympic lifting meet. And you know what? Your question led me to easy strength for fat loss with Olympic lifting is when I figured out that it was much easier. Like if I'm going to do 2 sets of 2 with chains in the front squat, just stick, throw 135 on the bar, stick my massive chains. I have the bigger, faster, stronger chains. I think they're 57 pounds. They're really heavy. And 2 sets of 2 with that takes about, honestly, I could probably do them easily, the 2 sets of 2 in a minute. But then I don't have to change the weights. If I leave on the bar, I don't know, 115, 135, 155, it doesn't matter. That's when I'm a snatcher. That's when I'm a clean and jerk. It frees the mind up. And the other thing it does too, before, I don't want to beat this to death too much, Lee, but you begin to get a sense of the good days and the bad days. The weight hasn't changed. You've changed, either, in the positive or maybe just having a bad week. I like the idea. When the one thing that I think I don't want to miss with this question is this. When it came to easy strength for fat loss with Olympic lifting, what I tried to do was this. Say, look, I'm just going to make up a workout. I'm doing a complex to warm up, 3 sets of 3 in the snatch, 3 singles in the clean and jerk, 2 sets of 2 in the front squat, and an ab wheel. Okay. Constant weights, nothing changes. But one thing does. If it took me, this would be a long time, but 31 minutes to do the workout the first time, and the weights don't change, but in a couple weeks I can do that workout in 19 minutes, that indicates to me, with quality reps, with quality movement, that something good is happening. So if you're going to use constant weight training, I would suggest that you think of density as your tool. Now, why did I bring up kettlebells? Is because I think kettlebells are the master density tool. In fact, the RKC snatch test is a density test. You have to do 100 reps in 5 minutes. If it's 5 minutes and 3 seconds, you fail. Even if you got 99 or even 100, you failed. It was too long. So density training, when we did the 10,000 swing challenge, very popular thing online, the first time you do 500 swings, it might take you an hour and change. But within just a few days of doing these 500 swings, all of a sudden you're down to 43 minutes. Pretty soon you're down to 33 minutes. Then you're at 29 minutes. And you think back to that first workout, the bell hasn't changed. The swing hasn't changed. What's changed? Why did I suddenly cut the time in half? I've changed. And that is what progressive resistance exercise is all about. Good question, and I really, really enjoyed answering that question.